What is the minimum credit score that I need? All of this depends on what it is that you are trying to buy. So typically the minimum credit score, and I'll put everything on here on the screen too. Typically the minimum credit score that you need would be a 580, but that depends on what kind of program that you're going to be using. So I guess I could tie this into the next one. The next one would be, what types of loan programs can I get? On average, you have a FHA loan, which would be a first-time home buyers association loan. You have a VA, which would be the Veterans Affairs loan, and then you also have a conventional loan. Now, the conventional loan is a little bit different than the first two because that one is just you. The first-time home buyers association program, that is our government-backed, and also the VA loan is also government-backed. Conventional, that's coming from the bank, that's all you. And also with that one, you're gonna have a bigger down payment, which would be about usually 20 to 25%. The other two is usually about 3 to 5% depending. With the FHA loan, your average score would be about 580. However, you would be needing a bigger down payment for that one. With the VA loan, some lenders don't require a credit score at all because it's a veteran's loan. However, there are some that require a 620. Make sure you check with your lender. Also, with the conventional loan, on average you need about a 620. If you can get up to the 700s, that'll be even better. In order to get the best interest rate for all three of these loans, you definitely want to make sure that you have the best credit score possible. I would say definitely aim for the 700s. All right, we killed two birds with one stone, so we got number 5 and 4 out the way. So now we're going to head to number 3. How much can you afford? We're going to go right back to the pre-approval and the pre-qualification. That literally will tell you what you can and cannot afford. So if you're trying to figure out, maybe I can, maybe I should, maybe I could. Look, don't even start looking for no houses. Don't hit up your real estate agent and say, hey, I'm ready. You ain't ready to look until you know how much you can afford. Trust me. There are some things that you think that you can afford, but until you get that information back, you will not know what you can and cannot get. You might be looking for a $300,000 house. But if your pre-approval and your pre-qualification, no, scratch that. If your pre-qualification says you can only afford an outhouse, look, don't even waste your time, buddy. But that doesn't mean that later on you can't fix it and come back and get you something different. But you know, everybody gotta start somewhere, okay? So you might be able to only afford a $150,000 house. That's fine. Start somewhere. You don't have to necessarily wait until you can afford a $250,000 house. That might be 2 years from now. But if you're trying to look to buy something now, you're looking to try to build equity and, you know, just put yourself into a better position for ownership, start where you are. Don't compare yourself. And that's another thing. Don't compare yourself to other people. Start where you are. Get what you can get. I'm not saying just anything, because don't do that. Get something decent enough for you to live in, you and your spouse, your friend, your family, whatever it is that you need to start with. Start there, because it's not wrong just starting where you are. Number 3, should I buy a new house before I sell my old one? This depends on what it is that you want to do. If you want to build up your portfolio in real estate, it's recommended to keep the old one and get a new house, get a new mortgage or secondary mortgage, and just kind of build from there. You can rent out your first one or you can sell it. It all just depends on what you want to do. I would say definitely sit down, map out the plan that you have. If you want to build a real estate portfolio, figure out what it is that you want to do long term. If you are just wanting to sell your old house and you don't want to get to real estate at all, completely fine. You can sell that one, you can buy a new one, or you can keep that one, rent it out, or you can keep it for your family. It all just depends on what you do. There is no right or wrong answer, just like the one I said before. There's no right or wrong answer for this because everybody's going to be different. Number 2 question, and I've already touched on this briefly before, but I'm gonna just name it again. What are the main types of loans that you can get? Conventional, VA, and FHA. The number 1 question that I always get, is real estate a good investment? And I will say this. If you live in an apartment complex and that apartment complex rents everybody for, let's say, $900. Gonna do the math. $900 a month times, let's say there's 30 units. That is $27,000 per month that your landlord is making. We are going to multiply that by 12 months, because 12 months in a year. That is $324,000 in a year. Now let's say they spend about 40% of that on fees that they have to pay every month or every year. So minus 40%, $194 per year. Now let's say you have a house, right? And that house, you have to pay a mortgage of $800 a month, and you are renting that place out for $1,500 a month. $1,500 minus $800 is $700 per month. Now if you multiply that by 12, That's $8,400 per year. It literally all depends on what it is that you're looking towards, because if you are looking for longevity, I would say absolutely it is definitely something that can replace your normal 9-to-5 income. There are plenty of people that will tell you to buy real estate for whatever reason, whether it's just you buying and holding. So if you're buying and holding and you're allowing that to build equity over the years, if you buy a $150,000 property this year, 10 years from now it might evaluate at $250,000. Now you done made $100,000 off that property. I'm just saying, like, it depends on what you want to do. Everything has its drawbacks. Some people might feel like it's a lot to deal with, having to own multiple properties and having to rent it out and having to do this and having to do that. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, it's always going to be something. I'll throw it to you just like that. It's always going to be something. So you have to figure out what it is that you're okay with. So in my very short answer, yes. It is very, very lucrative for you to have real estate, either just for you or if you want to just pass something down